is beating you in the face, you're fighting over a knife, you're in this position, forget about the ideal of form and relaxation. We're talking about, I don't use the word form so much as structure. I want to get the best structure for me possible. When he's here, he's drilling me like this. Structurally, he has advantages. He's buttressed my neck, he has a good frame, he has plenty of distance for striking. I can't go further than this to stop it, and by the time it's getting here, I'm structurally much weaker than him. He has much better elasticity, much better momentum, and I'm already getting weaker. If we're force hard, my bones are locked here. That's the only place where I have a slight advantage. As soon as I bend, muscularly, I'm having a hard time. If he's taking away my psyche and my breath, hydraulically I'm having a hard time. Emotionally I'm having a hard time. He's winning here. So when it's fast and hard, 90% of that spectrum, I'm at odds against, right? I'm losing. It's stacked against me. Especially if you're having a tight like this, I can't even see it. You're if you don't realize it. It's a bad position, right? So right away, I need to know, how can I get into this position? Can I address this density? And can I get my head in? That's the only place I'm going to be in a strong position. And this is a snapshot of a millisecond. I'm not staying here and resting. I'm getting out of here. Whether it's by pulling this in, pulling him down, whether it's by pinning him. I always tell people, basic rule of the knife fight. You messed up everything, it's going to be very close to you or in you. Pin it on you, pin it on him, and get outside. You do it like basic match. Get outside. We're talking gorilla. He's drilling me. I've got this. If I've resorted to grip, it's the most primal, angry, least effective. That's where I'm stuck. This is where we're starting. Pin it on him, put pressure, and get outside, and then start to work. Everything I do is about blocking his capacity for retraction. So in this case, it's very hard for me to do anything other than grab that elbow. That's about the only thing I can do when I'm inside his body. Once I get outside, I can wrap it. I can use either arm to block the retraction. I can use my torso to block his retraction. I can do whatever I want here. Punch. But when you're inside the horns of the bull, and you've got a guy like this, there's not much you can do. If I do not block that retraction, if I try to resist it by pulling, mechanically, if he pulls back, not just from the elbow, but from the shoulder, like he's starting a lawnmower, I'm going to lose that baseball grip fast. It's reality. If you don't believe me, I got a visor helmet in the car, get a rubber knife, hang on that baseball grip like you want, right? What's about the only way I can get somebody under control from a baseball grip? Look at your basic principles of Systema. You guys are training head down. 45 degrees. 45 degrees. And this, if we look at it, I always refer to it as an acronym: balance. Right? Baseline, ankle leverage, airways, nervous system, center of mass, eye line. Those are the 7 attributes for breaking balance. Baseline is the line between the heels. If I intersect at a 90-degree angle to the baseline, that's always the weakest point of the structure, and I do it at a 45-degree angle. Triangle point. So if we're wrestling strong, he's going to move a little bit, he's going to move his feet, he's going to dance, but wherever he goes, the baseline, it's like it's generating from the genitals, right? Oh, that's the weakest point of the structure. So from that grip, without violating that, if you're stuck, if we're talking life and death, you're cut, you're losing hydraulics, he's slick with blood. You're afraid to even release, you just somehow hooked into his watch band and part of his clothing, that's the only reason you've got a grip. That's the weakest point of the structure if you have a hope of doing it, from inside, when you're here, trying to point you. That's the quickest jerk you can sort of pull down. Even if I'm not going to use that as the fight ender, a quick jerk to the triangle point with a headbutt or an elbow to the body or a knee is a very good way to disrupt. But I don't want to dwell here. I want to get outside and then start to work from here. Try to avoid huge things where I'm sacrificing my balance. Try to stay standing, breaking, pulling down to a triangle. All the same work. How long you compress the joint to a triangle, take it off. So you don't have to remember it all, but it always comes back to the same principles. So, what we do for here, any position you want to be in, start with a hand grip. And my goal is to block his capacity or reduce his capacity to retract that weapon. So try not to fight just like this. Like 2 scorpions wrestling, you're going to lose. If we wrestle slow and strong, right, it's very hard for me to survive. Even if I escape first, because my ability to yield from the body is going to get contaminated by the desire to contract and pull that away. It's very hard for me to surf his arm and stay soft, stab it under, and escape. If I try to stay loose here, I bite the shot every time. So I resist. It's natural. So I resort to being strong, but he's mechanically stronger here. And I'm getting dominated. If I block his retraction, now I have a chance. If you look at the most basic Systema gun defense, we imagine it's a gun, right? Escape the line of fire. Escape creates deflection, block the elbow, so we can't retract the weapon. Screw the joint to elongate. Pick the weapon. Same thing. Knife is the same way, right? The escape creates the deflection. Block the capacity to retract, take out the elbow. I mean, this is just the ugly barbarian guerrilla wrestling version. And once I'm comfortable and I have this, if I'm good enough and I understand I have angles, and I can also stir the joints, start to control the work. Does that make sense? I'm pressing it in. So, switch every time, but what I want to see is, I grab the weapon, he grabs it tight, and we start wrestling lightly so he can still explore, but he needs to feel he has some capacity to block me coming in, but if he doesn't stop that elbow retraction and he just keeps wrestling here, I'm going to keep coming in. And if I come in with a bit of intelligence or a bit of power like that, he's going to lose. So you were graced with a chance, it stabbed into you, you grabbed it, whatever, you had to take a shot to the gut to get this, you better stop that retraction, because life is going to get worse. Make sense? Alright, switch it down, let's go.